Welcome to Live with Breathe America. So much fun. Okay, guys. So my name is Patrick Wickard. I am the host of the show. And today we're finally going to talk about my trip to Portland and what we all learned there. So we have a guest with us today. His name is Aaron. So let me go ahead and bring Aaron on with us. So this is my friend Aaron. He has got a very interesting perspective on a lot of different topics because he's lived a very interesting life. So I'd like to introduce you guys to him. So Aaron, go ahead and tell him a little about yourself.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Aaron, and I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm kidding. I really don't. Um, but yeah, like Patrick said, I do feel like I have an interesting story, especially with being somebody who is multiracial. And I've lived on both sides of the grass. I chose the no grass side. There's a lot, and like interfamily things and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited.
So Aaron has watched the Portland video, and there's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot to digest there. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long of getting to talk or getting to hear a protester's perspective while at the protest. So, what were your initial thoughts on watching the video?
Um, Actually, I kind of have like a little small introduction before I say about the video that I think is important for me to say so people can get my perspective.
Do it.
My name is Aaron Chaffer, aka Beats. Before I get started today, I want to make something very clear. I don't have a side. I'm not liberal, conservative, right, left, or anything. I have my own views on the world, and I like to think that I attack all topics with common sense. I may be wrong. I may speculate, although I do not like to. However, I'm open to learning. My brain is a dry sponge, and if water is knowledge, I am always thirsty. I also want you to know I'm multiracial, but I didn't find that out for sure until I was 17 years old. That being said, I identify as a Black man living in America. Yes, I consider myself American. No, not African American. I am an American. My flag has stars and stripes, and yes, I stand for that flag. And no, you don't want this problem if you fuck with my flag. I think I am the nicest asshole you will ever meet. I say that because I cut no corners and I sugarcoat nothing. But I will welcome anyone into my circle with open arms, no matter what their views and beliefs are. I will listen and hear you, but I will also call you on your BS if there is any, and I expect to be called on mine. We're family here, and I value all of you as my family members. So,
Aaron, that was very, very well said, and I like it. That was awesome.
I felt like I really needed to like
introduce yourself
and introduce myself so people know where like I stand, because I can get kind of very not kind of very passionate. That doesn't make any sense. But I can get very passionate of like certain topics, you know what I mean? Especially things that piss me off, dude. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the silent type. And I feel like I've been the silent type for a long time. So when I saw Breathe America, honestly, I said, what is doing? Well, and I once I started seeing the post and reading into it, I was like, dude, this is like exactly what we need right now. Like it makes sense. Like I'm a Libra, so excuse me, I'm a Libra, so I'm the scales, right? I find that I live that aspect of being a Libra in every part of my life, with work, with family, with my love life, with pretty much everything. So everything's got to have a balance, bro, and everybody has a story. There's always two sides to everything. There's a yin, there's a yang. Everybody has something to do with something. There is no one singular way of thinking. Just like we have that saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Because there definitely is. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that, and don't get me wrong, I was not like that for a very long time. It took a lot for me to get to where I am right now, as far as the way that I think about everything else.
Sure.
But there is no more one way to skin a cat. And I mean, you can ask my wife. You got, or my fiance. She's not my wife yet, but you can ask my fiance. I'm always like, is that fair for this? Is that fair for that? Well, what about this? And what about that? I'm always questioning everything because everything has to have a balance. Everything has to be fair. And so being able to hear other people's stories, being able to hear other people's perspectives in a platform that allows you to disagree and still be cool with each other is phenomenal. That's exactly what this world needs, period. And then, you popped up with Breathe America. Then I started finding out about all these other things. And then now we got Save the Children. Now I want to do my own thing too, as well. You know what I'm saying? And not so much as I don't want limelight. I want change, bro. That's what I want, because I've seen some shit. I haven't seen the worst gritty shit, but I've seen some shit. And I like to analyze and I like to understand, why is this happening? Like, why am I looking through these two holes in my face? Why not yours, Patrick? You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
it there was a lot, man. And that video, I went in with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to like jump on the unbiased train, and it was hard to like stay on that train a lot, because what I do, I'm not perfect and I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not a psychic. I'm not I'm not a psychologist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not this, I'm not that. I don't have any credentials, but I pay attention. I people watch. I look at gestures. I look at the way you say things. And I was not feeling lipstick whatsoever. I'm not. Like, I feel like she's in it for the hype. That I feel like she's in it to make a name for herself.
Well, I don't know if I would agree with that, simply because she didn't want anybody to know her name. But I will say this. As we talk about Portland, as we talk about everything we saw, I mean, we are going to address Lipstick's points of view for sure. But this isn't about Lipstick anymore. That part of the show is over. Let's talk about the implications, what we learned from it. Because ultimately, I have a lot of respect for what Lipstick did personally. To walk somebody who is an independent, conservative-leaning guy, politically independent is the term I've just recently coined, into a situation that she knew I didn't agree with. She had a very good idea of who I was and my opinions on the Black Lives Matter organization, and she still was willing to walk me in there. And I gotta be honest, guys, there was something I never said until now, and that was, I didn't know what I was walking into. I mean, I knew I was walking into a protest. I had literally had maybe 2 conversations with Lipstick, and maybe there was 3, and a handful of text messages before I walked into that protest. Could have been walking into a great setup for, getting my ass whooped, honestly, but luckily it didn't go that way. And I thought that, taking that much time out of her life and showing us the inside from her perspective, granted, took a lot of courage. So I like her. I don't agree with her much, but I like her. And I think that's important. I'm sure this has kind of come up in the comments at some point. And guys, ask questions in the comments. We will do we're going to spend a little bit of time tonight later after we get through some parts of the video that we wanted to discuss, and talk about and answer you guys' question, right? So, hey, but real quick, Mike just brought it up. What do you guys think of the stream? What do you think of the setup? Everything look good? Like, we took a lot of time with that. I think it looks great. I hope you guys like it. Also, Aaron and I actually know each other in real life. I think it's important that we share this story because we've known each other. I don't know, how many years is it now?
What 4th of July was that?
Was just last year.
A year.
Well, I think it was 2, because last 4th of July was was the wedding, right?
It was before that.
No, it wasn't, because her wedding was August 31st. And then
Last August.
is August.
Yeah. I'm not good.
At least a year, maybe 2, but Aaron's getting married to one of my niece's best friends, so we met at a family event that they came to, and so we've known each other for a little while. And like, even then we got into a heated conversation like right out the gate.
Yeah, that's important. That's one of my favorite things about Patrick, and that's why Patrick's my friend, is because I didn't know him from Adam. Dude. And first of all, he's a pretty nice douchebag for that. That's how I can say that right there. Like, okay, so you big pineapple head. So he's one of the nicest douchebags I've ever met, man. He came out the gate talking trash. That's one of my favorite things. The gate talking trash. We're automatically friends, yo. I'm pretty sure he said something about my Seahawks hat. Wasn't that something about my Seahawks hat? It's always
it was the Seahawks, man. I hate the Seahawks. I mean, come on. And I have to deal with it a lot, being that I'm in Idaho. There's a lot of Seahawks fans here.
I mean, bro, you're in the Northwest.
Hey, just because we live here doesn't mean we have to like that crappy team.
Well, most people like the stupid Cowboys out here, bro. Like, we're like 3,000 miles away from Dallas, and they love the Cowboys. I don't get it.
But it's Idaho. There's a bunch of Cowboys here. What little kid doesn't want to grow up and be a cowboy?
That ain't it, Patrick. That ain't it. But yeah, we ended up chopping it up, and he had a bike. Your bike, the one that you posted. Is it the same bike?
Yeah.
And I was like, whose bike is that? And then here we are talking about this bike. And then I don't know, about an hour and a half goes by, and we talked about probably 37 different topics. We just rode the train, dude. Just kept going. One topic brought up another, and another topic brought up another topic. And so when I see Patrick doing all this stuff with Breathe America, it's truly genuine, and you guys really don't understand. Like, I know you understand, but you really don't understand how genuine it is, because I've known this dude since before this, and he's a genuine guy, but you better have some potato salad and some cookies.
That's true. My sister's potato salad and her cookies are bomb, dude. You got to admit.
Wrap them up and sell them. It should be all.
Just so you know, my sister is like Betty Crocker in the kitchen. So yeah, my sister Sonia is ridiculous with what she cooks. It's awesome. That's why I never miss a 4th of July party at her house, except for one time, which was when I flew to Chicago.
There was no potato salad, so it didn't matter.
There was no potato salad?
No.
Was it banana bread?
I haven't had her banana pie yet, bro, but
no, banana bread.
Banana bread? Oh yeah, I did eat that. Slaps.
That stuff's hard. That stuff goes hard. All right, well, let's get into this. Let's get into the Portland or the Portland or the protest in Portland. Let's talk about. So, give me your overall thoughts. Actually, let me go first. I'm going to give you guys my overall thoughts on the experience from my perspective, walking through there, and everything that I saw. Okay, it's been almost 2 weeks now since I went, and like I said, I walked into that situation not having a clue as to what I was walking into. It was crowded. I mean, there was a lot of people there, probably several thousand when we first got there, and there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of division amongst the protesters themselves. There was lots of different groups. There were several points that Lipstick made throughout her commentary that we will talk about specifically that A, bothered me, B, fascinated me, and some that just straight up pissed me off. And I'm going to save the last part of the video till the end, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit. I'm not sure. But yeah, obviously I saw some things there that really upset me, but I also saw some things that really gave me a lot of hope about where we're sitting in this country right now. And overall, I got to say, the protesters and the rioters and the looter, all that stuff, right? They feed each other. Okay. The rioters feed off the energy of the protesters. They may not all be rioters, but there's a, I don't know. They're definitely not doing anything to stop it, right? And so they're actually encouraging that level of violence. And I think a lot of people are just simply there to watch the train wreck. Just like when we drive by a car accident on the freeway, we all slow down to look, right? I think that's why a lot of those kids are out there. The age demographic I found interesting. Somebody asked me this during the live, and it was pretty mixed, right? You had a lot of people from a lot of different ages, but the largest percentage definitely was younger adults, let's say. And it's interesting, the hope part that it gave me, even though these protesters, and I want to be clear here, I'm talking about the protesters, not the rioters, and I'm not talking about the protesters that are there cheering the rioters on. I'm talking about the people in the background that are there to be a part of the movement, right? That is their genuine reason for being there, and you can see this very clearly when you're on the ground. Those people give me a little bit of hope because they are living the American, that spirit of defiance that America was born into, right? That's where we come from. That's what we are. That is why protesting is a protected constitutional right, because America would not be here except for an act of protest, right? So I respect that. The stuff that pissed me off, Lipstick had some comments about Trump supporters dressing up in military gear and throwing people in the, kidnapping protesters. I don't believe that at all. And I think that just poorly represents the situation. The stuff that surprised me really boils down to specifics that she said. So we'll get to that, though, in a minute. But those were my overall thoughts of it. I walked away upset. I walked away confused. I walked away thinking, I hope you guys understood why I was there. I walked away with a lot of different thoughts and emotions, honestly, and it took me a while to process through it. But Aaron, after seeing it as much as you have and watching through it, and I know you took notes on it and stuff, what were your thoughts?
Ultimately, my thoughts were, at the end of everything that I watched, I had more questions than answers. And I believe I had more questions than answers because the only source of information I have ever had is mainstream media, as much as I try to stay away from it because I know it's malarkey. That's the only source I have, and finding out that some of my sources are like not correct, or they have been proven to be like BS. It sucks because now I want to know who the Proud Boys are. I don't know who the Proud Boys are, and now I'm afraid to look up the Proud Boys on the internet because I don't know who's in control of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able, after watching the video, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to go and see for my own two eyes, because that's you said it earlier in the video here that you gotta open your eyes to it. You got to do the research. You got to look from your own angle. You know what I'm saying? So it just really left me with more questions. I went in there thinking that I was gonna hear a lot of Lipstick's views.
So John asked on the video, Lipstick explained that blacks were often forced into gangs and criminal behavior with no personal choice based on societal pressures. And what are your thoughts on that? And just so you guys know, Aaron grew up in a large city, so he's been a part of those things as well. So
I don't believe it, because I made that choice. I had both options. My grandpa lived in Mount Baker, Washington. Okay. It's a suburb off of Seattle. And it is houses. They sold their house for $1.75 million. They bought it for $50,000. So that just gives you an idea of where this location is. Okay. My mom had a house right up the street. Okay. We lived on Plum, 1933 Plum Street. Look it up. Mount Baker. You can find it on Google Maps. I don't live there no more, so that's why I put that address out there. But you could check it. That's where I live. That's where I grew up. And we with my family dynamic, that's a whole nother story, but we were the black sheep. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, sorry, I got people coming. Sorry, my bad.
Well, I just want to throw in there that at this particular moment in that audio where she was talking about that, I felt like she was speaking for an entire group of people that she literally doesn't know anything about. She talks specifically about Chicago, and that what I've been there, I've seen it with my own two eyes, and that is not actually the case. Now, is that sometimes? I mean, are there some truth to what she said? Yes, but those were very overreaching statements, and I personally, I didn't buy any of that. I think that's just her personal opinion based on stuff that she's heard other people say. Somebody's asked, Billy asked if I believe if she honestly believed it, or did Lipstick really think that I believed the police were the aggressors or accidentally blinded? I don't know, but I absolutely do not believe that. I think that whoever had that high power laser was doing the one thing that he could do to be the aggressor. Somebody also brought up, what are my thoughts on Lipstick saying that the police were the aggressors? This is interesting, okay? Because Lipstick brought up a lot of things about how the feds were less aggressive than the police were before the feds got there. And I actually believe she was being accurate and honest. I think that the police department there has been dealing with this for so long that they are just as on edge as the protesters. And I want you to imagine that for 2 months straight that you're going to work at night and you're putting on riot gear, going out for a fight, right? Like that's literally what they're going out for. And there are plenty of videos that show the police acting out of line with what they should have been, but there's also plenty of videos showing the protesters acting out of line. I think it was a volatile situation. Now, what's interesting is when the feds showed up out there, according to Lipstick, they were less aggressive than the police. I think she's actually being accurate. Their presence alone was enough for the protesters and the rioters to ramp up things. So, interestingly enough, I think she was accurate on both counts. I think that those protesters and those rioters looked at the feds simply their presence alone. At one point, she talked specifically about all that has to happen is all they have to do is come outside of the building, right? If they come stand on their side of the fence, they're going to start throwing frozen water bottles. I mean, and believe me, these people come prepared. They are prepared for a fight. That is what they're there for. Anything on that, Aaron?
For me, it's hard to tell without actually being there and, seeing it for myself. It's kind of hard for me to take somebody's word for it. Knowing what you're saying about it and the trust I have with you, I'm leaning a little bit more on your side. But I think people who start stuff like that, bring frozen water bottles, like what for? You're supposed to protest. You know what I mean? I think it's pointless to do that unless they've been pushed into that, that mindset by being gassed or rubber bulleted or stuff like that. So it's really hard to really put my stance on that one.
You brought up the gas. It was something Lipstick talked about a lot. And she kind of tried to, and Carrie, I'm going to get to your question in just a second, but I wanted to touch on this. She kind of put it on the point like that, one person throws a bottle of water. Now, keep in mind, these are frozen bottle of waters that actually do damage at the police, and the whole crowd gets tear gassed. No shit. The police use tear gas to disperse a crowd. Okay, that is what it is used for, you guys. That is the tactic that they use, and it is a legal tactic according to the Constitution and their rules and all that kind of stuff. So, why do they do it as soon as somebody throws a frozen bottle of water? Because it's starting to escalate. So they tear gas. They launch tear gas into the crowd. Now, this isn't for the police officer that launched tear gas canisters level at head height into the crowd. That's messed up. But for the guys that are just shooting in the ground, shooting it properly to disperse the crowd, you're guilty by association, whether you're the one that threw the ball or not, right? And what do you think is going to happen? You think a police officer, like 3 or 4 of them are going to run out into the crowd and grab the one person that threw the bottle of water and deal with that person? That's
I'm
not
not.
how.
If I was a cop, no way.
Right, like that's not how that's going to go down. Now, Carrie asked a really great question. She wants to know if you feel like the ones doing the damage are doing it for the original movement or just to be destructive.
I feel like they're doing it to be destructive, and I feel like they're being paid to do it to be destructive. And see, this is the speculation part that I don't like talking about, but there's a lot of talk about this and about that with people paying this person and people paying that person and get them to go do this crazy stuff. And the fact that a lot of people are talking about it, and the fact that a lot of people are bringing it up, and people who are actually being paid are bringing it up, that causes questions for concern. I feel like a lot of people so you remember the WTO riots?
Yeah.
I was there. I was 15 years old. You want to know what I was doing there? I was going to Nike Town. I was getting Nikes. You know what I'm saying? Because people were doing it. People were coming home with Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's a lot of it. And when you see, and I feel like a lot of the reason is mainstream media, that's what they broadcast. People are looting. People are taking this. People are taking that. That's exactly the reason why I went down there at WTO, is to go get stuff. So I believe people are doing it for the damage. I don't believe those people are doing it for the movement. And I believe people who are looting and robbing and doing all this other hoopla, like trying to run through people or, scare them into it, like the Proud Boys. I think they're in it for the hype. They're in it for the, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Social status, I guess. That's what I feel like. You know what I mean? Because that's what I did it for. I went to go get some Jordans so I could put some on my feet and so I could sell some in the hood. Like that's exactly why I rioted it.
I think it's an interesting question, Carrie. I think that the original movement is lost. I said that night or that next morning, being down there, witnessing it, watching it firsthand. One of the most amazing things that happened there that night that we happened to be there on was a black woman showed up in the middle of the crowd talking about Blue Lives Matter on a mic, right? Like literally challenging the entire group of protesters. And as you guys know, I got as close to her as I could so you guys could get the audio. I don't know how, I know it didn't come through real great in certain spots, but her message was clear. And her message is, what are you guys doing? This isn't about black people anymore. And she was highlighting the fact that this was, in fact, no longer about that movement. And that woman has started a nonprofit and is going down there late at night to cook for people, to try to help, right? To try to bring people together. And I know Aaron wants to talk about that woman too, but this ties into Kristen's question where she asked, after seeing it firsthand, what's going on in Portland, do I think the country can truly be united, or do I think America has grown too far apart? I would not be sitting here on Breathe America having these conversations if I felt that we were too far gone. It is never too late to do the right thing, and we can turn this ship around at any moment, but it takes us having conversations. It takes us trusting each other, and it takes us deciding that, we the people are in charge, like the Constitution says. So no, I don't think it's too late. Do I believe that everybody will join us in coming together? No. I think no matter what, it's gonna be a fight on one end or the other. I just hope that it's a fight we use with words and not weapons. Did you want to talk about that woman? Because you had a lot to say.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear your thoughts on her.
She reminded me a lot of my mom, and my mom has always been a very aggressive, peaceful woman, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? So I remember, it's funny because she's talking about the barbecue, man. Like my mom, we were having at ends with friends in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all from the same clique and stuff, but we were starting to fight. My mom went to Costco, bro. She come back with a van full of chicken, hamburgers, stuff to make a salad, carrot pies, and she's in that kitchen for hours, bro, for like 6-7 hours making all this food. You know what she did? She invited the hood to my house, the whole hood to my house, and chopped it up with everybody and brought everybody together with food, man. Like that. As soon as I heard that part, I was like, man, I want to go barbecue. I want to go bring somebody together. Let's set up in front of Boise Capitol with a grill. Who got a grill? Who's ready to go? You know,
Let's do it.
that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. You know what I mean? I was real excited to hear that, and that's the part. The part of her is her part in the video is what brings back that hope that I can feel. You know what I mean? She's gonna be somebody who makes change in Portland. Did you get her name or anything? But
somebody does know her name in the group. They let me know that they have it. I don't know it off the top of my head, but somebody has found out who she was, and if you want to reach out, we can make that happen.
So you know, physically and literally, that was a dark video. Figuratively and literally is what I meant. Yeah, it was a dark video. But she brought the light, bro. Like she was the light through the whole thing. And you can hear it in her voice that her voice was hoarse, man. Like she was reaching, she was trying. That's my personality. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like in the area that I am in, you know what I mean? I'm a gun-toting Idahoan, bro, from Seattle. You know what I mean? I claim Idaho. I love this place. I tried to go back home to Seattle and I can't do it. You know what I mean? I'm a gun-toting Idahoan who's got brown skin. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel safe out there. You know what I mean? But she's the type of person I want to be. She's what I aspire to be with this whole movement, bro. Is that one? I want to be Big Mama.
So somebody asked if I could estimate percentage of how many people were out there as peaceful protesters and how many were out there that were aggressive and angry. That's a tough question. That's a really tough question because the night that I happened to be there, it didn't get angry and it didn't get aggressive. I mean, a little bit there at the very end, but it was a pretty calm night from what we had seen on other videos. So I don't want to put a percentage on it, and I think that it's probably more even than most people realize. But there's also the peaceful protesters that are there in full support of the looters and the rioters and all that kind of stuff. So it's a hard thing. There are separate groups there that becomes very, very clear, but it would be really difficult to put a percentage on.
You said separate groups there. And I actually have a question because I didn't think I really got a clear answer. How many different groups were down there protesting? Because I counted 4.
I was going to say at least 4, right? And I don't know if you can count the cars that drove by with the revved up engines and stuff. I don't know if you can count that as a different group. When I first showed up, it was very, very obvious that there was 2 very large groups that were very separate from each other. And after walking through the crowd, it became very obvious that there were other groups there as well. It wasn't, I was already there and I didn't get there till what? It was like after 10 when I showed up. And we were there till pretty late. Or was it after 11? I don't know. It was late. When supposedly it should have been kicking off. And as the night went on, there was more and more rioters showing up. And you could tell because they come in with face masks, tactical gear, shields, makeshift like leaf blowers. I mean, some of them were already there, but more and more were showing up, and more of the protesters were leaving. So I would say at least 4.
Okay.
But it's also hard to tell. Okay, people are commenting to each other, which is interesting. Aaron, do you feel like the people really know what BLM has become, and do you think that that's how the BLM grew, and how many perspectives are talking or taking over the movement?
I don't like BLM. I don't, and I feel like it's a political stance with the BLM. There's a lot of I feel like the people who originally started BLM for BLM. And BLM, in my sense, does have a meaning. There is something behind that because exactly what it means. You know, okay, you guys don't murder me for this. All lives matter. Black lives matter as well. So do Mexican lives matter. Asian lives matter. White people's lives matter. Blue people lives matter. Medicine people lives matter. And that's what I'm talking about. Doctors, everyone, bro. But when there is a part of that group that is feeling a lot more hurt than everybody else, then yeah, those Black lives matter. That's what the movement is supposed to be for. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to pick up. We are, America is a melting pot. That's how we started. We are United States of America, the United States of America. Let me say it one more time for you guys, just in case you didn't understand real quick. United States of America. Okay? When you have one part of the union that is failing, you've put all your efforts towards that part of the union. And right now, as it stands, for the past 80, almost 100 years, Black lives need to matter more, a little bit more than everybody else's right now. It's the truth, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? But what it's become, the painting the street to the White House with Black Lives Matter, renaming the street to Black Lives Matter. Okay, great. Now we got another Martin Luther King Jr. street. Awesome. That's fantastic to me. We got another street. That's great. But where's the change? Where's the change? I'm getting animated. And see, this is what I was talking about.
So, Billy asked if I'll put Billy's comment up. And I know why you did this, Billy, because Billy and I have talked privately about this, and that's just kind of messed up. You set me up like that. But she wants to know, or she wants to point out the fact that Lipstick made a point that there was a man cleaning up the trash. Was it clean? Or do the protesters trash the streets? We see graffitis and fires, right? Okay. So I've been to Portland many times. I used to work over in Portland. Portland is a filthy city, first and foremost. There is more trash in downtown Portland than I have ever seen in my life. When she pointed out a guy picking up garbage, I'm like, do you realize every city of this state or every citizen of that city could grab a garbage bag, go fill it up, and they wouldn't even be halfway clean? Mm-hmm. Like, Portland is gross. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Anybody that lives in Portland, like, I live in Boise. You come to Boise, and the one thing everybody says about Boise and Meridian and all these cities, wow, it's so clean here. Yeah, because people don't throw their shit on the ground. Portland's a shithole. Like, it is trash everywhere. I hate it. Like, that city drives me nuts. So if you live in Portland, I love you. Go clean up your damn streets. Okay.
Really, though.
Thanks for setting me up for that, Billy. But there you go.
You're not wrong, though, man. You're really
been there.
I've been to Portland. So we used to drive down to Portland to go to Voodoo Donuts, bro, because the donuts slap. I mean, they got
Voodoo's good, man. Voodoo's are good.
With bacon. Who's not gonna want to eat that? You know what I'm saying? We used to go down there and stand in line till like 1 o'clock in the morning, dude, for some damn donuts.
But it's worth it.
It's so worth it, and always disgusting.
It's the only place I have ever seen where they do a naked bike ride annually. And you guys can think what you want about that, but they do. They do a naked bike ride annually in Portland.
What?
Yeah. Look it up. I don't want to talk about it.
I was 8 years old when I found out about a naked bike ride in Portland. Babe, we're going. I'm getting a bike.
You look it up for yourself. I'm telling you, they do naked bike rides there. And yes, Carrie brought up the fact that she was trying to make a positive out of a negative. Now, this is an interesting thing. I think the people that are down there night after night are completely desensitized to what they're witnessing and what they're seeing. That's what I think. And I think that they only want to see it one way. They don't want to see the other side of it. But I want to remind every single one of you that is over the age of 25, were we any different? Because I wasn't. All I saw was what I wanted to see back in those days. You know, I think we were all the same. And this is why I say they're misguided. Right. And I think as they get a little older, they're gonna learn from their experiences, and they're gonna come from a different perspective. Oh, this is a big question. All right. So do you feel that those who are there to destroy and do damage hide behind protesters, rioters, in my opinions, are cowards. Instead of trying to solve the issues and be part of the solution, they choose to be part of the problem and cause more chaos, destruction, and point the fingers at law enforcement when law enforcement tries to gain control. I 100% agree. I have watched a lot of protests where it looks like very, very well armed people are instigating violence behind peaceful protesters. I think that is ridiculous. And I think the protesters need to realize that they are being used and they are being played. If those people that wanted to instigate the violence stood alone, it'd be a lot easier to round them all up. What do you think about that, Aaron?
I absolutely agree. It would be a lot easier to round them all up. And being that at some time ago at the age, 16, 15, 16 years old, I think even younger than that with the WTO riots, I was that person. So it is a thing. I think that they do hide behind the protesters. I think that they use it as cover because, you made a very valid point. There's way more protesters than there are them. You'd be able to round those dudes up pretty quickly, and gain control again. And I think that those people, and just to piggyback off of what you said, the age 25 thing, I didn't start coming into my realization of being an adult until I was about 29 years old. So I totally agree with that. Think that has something to play with it. And I think that those people that are doing the riots absolutely just don't care. They don't care. They don't have hope. They don't care what happens to our world. They don't care what happens to our nation. And they just don't, they're desensitized before any of this.
Aaron, this question's for you.
Oh.
Being from Idaho, Aaron's not from Idaho. He just moved here, but being from Idaho as a black man, Idaho is known for having some white supremacists. Do you feel safe throughout Idaho? This will be fun.
Absolutely. You want to know why I feel safe around Idaho?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I did it. That's why. Honestly, I honestly, they didn't know I was a black man. You know what I'm saying? I came out here when I was 17 years old to go to Job Corps, and I was scared. And that's the first time I seen a tumbleweed. You know what I mean? I was the true minority in this area. My first day here almost got sent back because I punched a skinhead in the face for calling me a hard R. You know what I mean? And so that made it even worse. And I've been through a lot of different racial situations, so to speak, when it comes to racism in the state of Idaho. I've had more racist things happen to me as a Mexican in the state of Idaho than anything. And I believe that there's only one reason why. Our black population in the state of Idaho just started booming in the last 5 years. Okay, we just started seeing black people in Caldwell and Nampa about 5 years ago. Look at my hair. You see my hair? My hair's long. Okay. I've been treated as a Mexican and racially profiled as a Mexican by the police more than I have ever been racially profiled as a black man in the state of Idaho. It never happened. It's been a Mexican, and I believe because we have such a strong culture in the southwestern part of Idaho with Mexicans, and even over in the eastern part in Twin Falls and Idaho Falls and Burley. Burley's got nothing but Mexicans over there, bro. I think that because that's the group here, and I look like I can pass for them, that's what they're gonna profile me as. So, as a black man and a gun-toting Idahoan, I'm safe.
Gun culture is pretty big here. I think I should clarify something for those of you guys that aren't from Idaho that don't know this. Northern Idaho, I don't know if you've ever seen a map of Idaho, but up in the Panhandle, it's what we call it way up north, used to be very, very well known for the fact that that was like a hot spot for the KKK up in a place called Priest Lake. They're gone now. They've been gone for a while, and the attitude here has changed drastically in the last. Well, I've been here since I was a kid. The attitudes here has changed drastically since then. Do we still have people that are that narrow-minded? Oh yeah, but rest assured, you have people that are that narrow-minded where you live too. It happens everywhere, but Idaho, it just seems like it's more talked about. But we have 1.75 million people in the entire state, and the state's one of the largest in the country. So we're a very small population in this state, and we do things a little bit different. Now, I'm curious though. You brought up the fact that here in Idaho, the last 5 years, things have changed a lot, right? So, do you feel like you have to be worried about your race here? Is that something that you have to concern yourself with here?
No, off top, not at all, not even a little bit, because I believe in the people here, and that's why I came back. You know what I mean? Like there is a really one of my favorite pictures out of the protest or anything like that was that white woman holding up that black man's hand. When I bought this gun, that's when I started. That's when I was seeing, cities on fire on TV, on Facebook. And can you get him out of here? Sorry, my dog's kind of annoying. But I don't feel the people of Idaho are like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel the people of Idaho. Most of the people, for the most part, have open arms here, and that's not after the California boom. That's not after refugees coming here from I think it's Haiti. Well, we were welcoming them from after the earthquake. It's not that. The people here are genuinely nice, bro. The people here are genuinely open arms. You know what I mean? And that's what changed my perspective. Because when I came out here when I was 17, I was pro-black. Tommy Hilfiger, sag my pants, blue flag out the left side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was. And I have to say, Idaho changed me to be a better person because of how open-armed this place is. You know what I mean? I used to be afraid of talking to anybody white around here. Some of my best friends are white. You know what I mean? John Lee is one of my best friends, bro. Like he came into Job Corps into a room with 3 black dudes. Then he was the minority, and you came in with open arms, and he changed, how his perspective was based on just having conversations with me. One of the funniest things John's asked me is he asked me if the inside of my ears are pink. I mean, mind you, we're 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he's curious now, but that's all it takes, and that's the culture in this state. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're red state. Yeah, we had the neo-Nazis. Yeah, we had the KKK. But the culture of this
state,
or whatever it is,
right?
Tomato. The culture of this state would not be the way it is today if it wasn't always like that.
So somebody asked, how do you think we can make more people open to coming together rather than dividing while the protests are happening? I think we keep doing exactly what we're doing right here. We keep talking. We keep shining a light on it. We keep asking people to be a little better every day. We keep building ourselves, and we keep building up others. And that is exactly how we affect change in the long run. Nothing's going to happen overnight, you guys. We can make all the changes we want, or we can talk about all the changes we want, but it takes implementing them every single day. It takes a commitment to wanting that, and it takes a commitment to yourself and to the people around you. If anybody watching is a parent, it takes a commitment from how you raise your children, how you get them to think for themselves. Critical thinking skills have been lost in this country. In another comment, somebody brought up that we have, failed our youth in this country. And I've said this before, we have to teach a better lesson, right? Respect is a big one, and how to communicate and how to talk to people and how to look at the bigger picture, right? Like, these are skills that we need to be teaching our youth, not teaching them. So they learned all this from us. At the end of the day, they learned from watching us. So we have to teach a better lesson, and that's become obvious, at least to me.
Yeah, let me piggyback off of you that real quick, because you said that part of failing our children. It's really big for me to teach my kids respect. I have 6 kids. Yes, I have 6 kids. So and my dad wasn't there with me. He didn't teach me how to be a dad. He didn't teach me how to be a man. I respect my father for giving me life, but that's pretty much it. And he's slowly earning that respect back. I can say that. But I learned that from Hispanics, dude, from Latinos. You know, they're the ones who taught me respect. They're the ones who taught me this. They're taught, you know, how to be like that. And that's a huge thing that a lot of these kids don't have these days. None of them have respect, you know. And I'm pretty sure that was said about us when we were kids. You know what I mean? But now it seems like the cycle's getting worse. You know how the perpetuating cycle, you know, it just keeps getting worse until it just blows up and then it starts back over again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like the more we teach our kids to have respect, the more that they'll understand and the more that will come out of this, because they're the ones who are going to solidify the change. You know, we're the people that's going to get the change to start going. You know, we're going to get it going, but I'm going to die. You're going to die at some point. We're not all going to live forever. So the teaching our kids is the most important thing.
We're not going to live forever?
Yeah, Patrick, your beard is not going to make you survive for the rest of your life. I promise you.
Damn. And why you got
because it's majestic.
Somebody brought up a point that, and I'm interested to. I want to talk about this. This is an interesting, and I wish I knew who this was, because this is a really great thing here. He or she, because I don't know who it is, says that's why evening curfews work. Law-abiding protesters stay home. Rioters and others out or in violation of the curfew. I get what you're saying. Like that's 100% accurate. But the whole point of a protest is to get the attention. So, and I always try to look at this from as many sides as possible. So, and I don't know what side of any political line you are, but because this is a left-leaning protest in Portland that we watch, or that I got to go to, I want you to imagine that it's a Second Amendment rally and we're protesting, and people that support the Second Amendment are protesting over the ban of a specific type of gun, right? Say they're trying to pass a law that bans semi-automatics, right? Something they talk about all the time. And the law's in there, and we decide to protest. Are we going home at curfew? I got to ask. Do you think we will go home when the curfew time comes up if we're standing there saying you're not taking our guns?
Probably not.
Probably not.
And
probably not going to happen.
I mean,
I really do, but I think it's counterproductive. I honestly think that the purpose of protest is to get your voice heard the best way possible. Now, where do we draw the line? Personally, I draw the line at violence and destruction, graffiti, fires, burning the flag, all that kind of stuff. That there's no place for that. That is not a constitutionally protected right. But protesting is, and curfews are not laws. They are suggestions from a government that has no authority to tell you what to do that isn't a law. So take that how you see it. But that's my thought on that. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, Patrick. I mean, curfew is a suggestion, but at the same time, if I'm doing it peacefully, what can you tell me? You know what I mean? I'm not. You're right. The protest is for to get heard. I don't know if a law-abiding citizen is somebody who stays home and shuts up. That sounds like censorship, in my opinion. You know what I mean? If you're not listening, I'm gonna get louder. Like that. Who in any situation, whether let's say you're just arguing with some random person on the street and they're not listening to you, and you're trying to reason with them and they're not listening to you, what are you gonna do? You're either gonna walk away or get louder. One of the two. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a lost cause. Or you're gonna
Kimberly just put up they have a countywide lockdown / curfew, several days of protesting in Los Angeles. I've seen that already, and it has the potential to heat up just like Portland has, and I hope that it doesn't. I will say this though about the point about curfews. Yes, everybody that's protesting out past curfew is technically in violation of a city order, right? That is true. So technically they are breaking a city order. If those protests were to stay peaceful and stay out all damn night long, do you think any of us would be talking about it? At least not like this, right?
No.
It wouldn't be riots. So I will say this: if you're having a protest, you're out after curfew, and you're exercise, and it's a peaceful protest, and it stays peaceful from start to end, and then everybody goes home, then I don't think anything should happen to those protesters at all. They are exercising their constitutional right. But here's the other side of that coin: the moment that it becomes violent and they start throwing frozen water bottles and showing up with shields and bats and high-powered lasers and IEDs. I mean, they're literally blowing up explosives, throwing explosives over the fence at the federal agents and the police officers all the way through this. Like, now everybody's culpable. It's called guilty by association. This is this is a fact of life. If you hang out, if when Aaron was younger, he's hanging out with a bunch of Crips and running around playing, living the gang life, then and the cops roll up, bust a house that he's at, guess what? He's getting arrested and going down with them, right? Guilty by association. Legally wrong or not, you are guilty by association. Yep. And that is something that's true for all protesters too.
Did we
one for you, Aaron? Are you fearful when you have to interact with the police?
Oof, that's a touchy one. I am definitely fearful when I have to interact with the police. I haven't been pulled over with my firearm yet, but I've already put a plan into place.
I have been. You want to know what I do?
What?
So this is what I do every time. So I also carry a firearm on me 99% of the time. And every time I'm pulled over, I get my wallet and I pull out my wallet and my concealed weapons permit, even though you don't actually need a concealed weapons permit in Idaho. Idaho. And I keep my hands on the wheel. And as soon as the officer gets to the window, I hand him both and I let him know whether I'm armed or not armed right then and there. Whether I have a gun or not, I do the same thing. If it happens to be one of those times where I do not have a firearm, I will hand him my concealed weapons permit and I will tell him that I am not carrying currently, because I don't want him to go back, run my name, and see that I have a concealed weapons permit and I didn't inform him, because it creates an interesting scenario. So I just go ahead and let him know from the beginning. I had one officer ask me to disarm myself. I told him to kiss my ass. I said, I am not my weapon at all. I said, it is on my right hip. If you want to open the door, I will scoot my sexy ass outside and let you disarm me. But there is no way I'm reaching for a weapon. So, yeah, I'm fearful when I get pulled over by the cops because normally I am armed. So, anyway, sorry. That's what I do every single time.
You're good. My plan was, I promise you, was a lot more extensive than that. I'm talking about like hands out the window with the keys. Like, officer, I'm strapped, cuz. But no, I actually been able to interact with the police and have my firearm on me. We were outside. My neighbor, before they moved out, was having an altercation with her husband, and he before that had called me a hard R, and he had a record, so I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna, she asked me to come out there just to, be a witness, and she's my friend, so I'm gonna be a witness. And I wasn't trying to put myself in a situation or anything like that, but I wasn't gonna put myself in a situation or anything like that by not having my pistol on me. You feel me? So, the cops rolled up and everything. First thing I do, I got a gun. And you want to know what the cop did? He did exactly like that. He's like, okay. Maybe that's Idaho, but from Seattle, I've had guns before. I could say that. Were they legal? Probably not. But that's neither here or there. Anyways, I've been in situations where there has been a gun in the car. There has been a gun on me where the cops were around. Boy, talk about shitting bricks. They were coming out pretty hard. But now, having that experience here in Idaho, in a state where they're like, oh, they're racist there, blah, 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 blah. I'm a black dude who looks Mexican, who's strapped 99% of the time. And I ain't worried. I'm good.
Here's a question. I don't know who it is. I'm sorry. So they want to know, why do I carry a gun 99% of the time? It's really, really simple. I hope that I never need it, but I have it in case I do need it. I'm a single parent, and I'm all my kids have got, and I'm going home. No matter what situation I find myself in, I'm going home. And things happen. We've had shootouts in Idaho. Things have happened that, there is an illegal element everywhere you go. And it's one of those things that I don't want to be ever put in a situation where I need that firearm and I'm reaching for it and it's not there. So I made a decision a long time ago that it's better to be prepared for any scenario. And you know what? To make that commitment sucks, let me tell you, because have you ever carried a gun all day? It's not the most comfortable thing to pack around with you. You got there's 37,000 different holster options. Every pair of pants you have to buy an extra size too long, and then if you're or too big, right? And then you don't have your gun one day, and your belt don't fit, and you look ridiculous, right? Like, you got to tighten your belt all the way up. Yeah, carry a firearm. There's a lot more that goes into it than people realize.
Listen here. Oh, hold on, man. Let me stop you for a second. First of all, you have a nice American male physique, okay? Holster options and all that. I'm fat, bro, and I carry a 40 caliber pistol. All right? It's not an EDC. It is not an everyday carry by any means at all. This is a big ass gun. Boy, my right flank be sweating hard. So y'all don't want to hear you complain.
For solid metal, it's hot, right? You sweat on the gun and everything else. I've got several different holster options, but honestly, I carry the gun so that I have it. It's peace of mind for me now. I grew up in a place where firearms are very, very normal. I've taken lots of classes. I train regularly, and it's part of what we do here. And so for me, it's always been just part of life here. So that's why I choose to carry the vast majority of the time. Is if I am ever put in a situation where, look, I say, like, I always think of it like this. When seconds matter, cops are only minutes away.
Yep. With somebody keeping one chambered. Like, yeah, it's matter, bro.
I mean, there's and it's all a matter of perspective, and it's all a matter of what you've grown up in. And look, I tell everybody, whether you choose to own a gun or carry a gun, that is your responsibility, and it comes with a lot. Right? Don't get into them. That's the easiest thing to do, but it is your right to do it. And so, as Americans, for those of us that exercise that right and make that choice, we are literally putting ourselves in a situation where, if and when we ever do need to draw that pistol, we're not only risking our lives, but we're risking our lives to defend those others around us as well. So I don't look at it any differently than I look at what boots I'm wearing, right? Like, I got different guns for different days. Sometimes it's time for a little gun. Sometimes, it's a bigger one. Like, it just depends, right? Like, it's like, what belt am I wearing today? It's a part of me. It just goes with me. And I want every single one of you guys to know, like, for me, it's I hope and I pray every single day that I never have to pull that pistol for what it's intended for. Because that's not a position I want to be in. But rest assured that if I ever am in that position and you happen to be in the room, I'll stand in front of you too. So, but yeah, that's why I carry. And when you grow up around guns, they just become normal. And I know that's not true for a lot of people. And no, I don't feel unsafe. It's not an unsafe issue at all. It really, it's just, I'm pretty sure whoever this is, it's the same. It's a follow up. No, I do not feel unsafe at all. I felt a little unsafe a few times in Chicago, I'll be honest. And I felt a little unsafe at the port or at the protest. But here, shockingly enough, I did not carry a weapon to the protest. I made the decision. I didn't even take a gun with me. I made the decision before I left, and I can. My concealed weapons license works in Oregon too. But I didn't carry because I didn't want a protester or somebody else to happen to see it, because when you carry a gun, it imprints, right? So if you know what you're looking for, I can tell if someone's carrying or not, right? Because I've done it enough myself. And if somebody found out that I had one in there, I thought it would put me in a very dangerous situation. So would you have carried there, Aaron?
Not this big old hunk of thing, dude. You can see this from a mile away, bro. But
Right.
I probably would have. And I want to answer this question that this person's asking too, about feeling safe. When I saw those images of DC on fire, my city on fire, cops, cop cars burning in the streets. I saw the down in LA, there was a video of the cops hightailing it out of there and the people winning. That scared me, because those people who were causing those riots and doing those things, I feel like, are the people who wouldn't question to kick a door in. You know what I mean? I got 3 of my babies here full time, bro, in my house. You know what I'm saying? 2 of them every other week. You know what I mean? And one of them here every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'd be damned if somebody kicked my door down during those times. And I was unsure. I didn't know what was going on. I just see cities burning. You know what I'm saying? I see cops running, and I'm like, I live in Idaho. Uh-oh. You know what I mean? And I am so so thankful for this state and what they did during that time. You know what I mean? And not gonna lie, during the first 2-3 weeks of when it really started popping off in mainstream media, I was still scared. I was definitely still scared. But after seeing how my city showed up, Boise, where I live, in Meridian and Boise, where I live, show up, it made me feel better. And by the way, I want to make it clear, Seattle is always home. I know I keep saying I'm an Idahoan, but that's at heart. I'm always going to be a Washingtonian to the day I die. I just want to make that clear real quick.
Randy, yes, that is well said, and it's good to see you, Randy. It's been too long since we talked, but Randy just threw up a comment that carrying a firearm is like knowing CPR, just in case you need it, right? That's really what it is, because it's one of those things that if you don't have, you don't have.
What are you gonna do? Yeah,
And so we've actually already gone over the hour, so let's wrap this up. I wanted to keep these things about an hour. There's a lot of really good questions in here. So you guys, we're going to do this every single week. We're going to talk about different topics, and we're going to cover different things. And but go ahead and wrap up your final thoughts on Portland.
My final thoughts are, I have more questions. I'm going to search for the answers. I'm definitely going to get some active things going here in the state of Idaho, in the southwestern corner of Idaho. I feel like I just need to find the right thing that really fits what I feel like will cause the movement to get greater. I am very pissed off at some things that I saw in Portland, and Portland was already on my bad list, and now they're even more on my bad list because of what I saw. Don't touch my flag, bro. And that's my flag. Whether anybody believes it or not, I'm American, bro. I was born Seattle, Washington, October 16th, 1985, Group Health Hospital. Okay. And I don't like it. Oh, there's another question.
We're gonna have to touch on this one because they're talking about it on the side. It says, and do you think desecration is just the burning of it, or also distressing it, or leaving it in the weather, changing the colors to represent your movement, drawing lines on it, making pants out of it, letting it become wind ripped, filthy flying, whatever, out of the back of a truck?
For me,
Yep.
Not necessarily, because it wouldn't get that way unless you were flying your colors proudly on the back of a truck. So that one, not that one. Making pants out of it, drawing lines on it. The making pants out of it, I really don't see the issue in that, because to me, that's just Americans being proud. You know what I mean? Like, lawn chairs, pictures, pants, shirts, whatever, 4th of July stuff, pretty much anything you can get in 4th of July. I really don't see any issue with that. I know there's laws against it, but changing the color of it to follow your movement, I believe is flat out disrespectful to our flag. Make your own damn flag, bro. It ain't hard. It's called Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your own thing, dude. So
I agree with you. As far as like merchandising and stuff like that, like I don't think any of those pants or shirts were ever actually American flags that were cut apart and sewn into something else. Now, if that was happening, I'd say that is disrespectful, and that is desecration for sure. The burning of the flag. In my whole life, I never thought I would stand and witness a situation like that. And in my whole life, I never thought I would have the wherewithal to bite my tongue and walk away. Without a doubt, that was the most difficult part of that night. And it took every ounce of restraint that I have learned throughout my life to just simply walk away at that point. And yeah, I hope I never see it again. But yeah, I take that very serious, but I also agree when you add colors to it to represent a movement, that is desecration of the flag. The red, white, and blue, the stars and bars, whatever you want to call it, it should be represented as it is meant to be represented because it means what it means, and it shouldn't be used as a prop for another movement. So, but I get it. I mean, it's a powerful visual tool for anybody that's doing that, but I don't like it.
I don't understand how you walked away from that. The fight would have been on for me. The fight would have been on.
You want to know how I did it? First of all, I didn't see them. Like, so a comment came up in the thread saying they're burning a flag, and I was not close to where they were at, so we started heading over there. It's actually why I went over there. And as I got close enough that I could smell the smoke, man, I felt my blood pressure boiling. Right, I felt it happening. But by the time I got over there, the flag was already on fire. There wasn't even much of it left in that moment, but there was enough to know what they were doing. And if it wasn't for all of the people watching that night, I don't think I would have reacted nearly as calmly as I did. And so for any of you guys curious, literally, like, Breathe America matters that much to me, right? What I represent as being the person that started Breathe America and what I'm asking you guys to do. And Randy, yes, I was outnumbered, but I wouldn't have cared. If it wasn't for you guys and what I want to accomplish here, that matters more for me in that moment than risking everything. Because if I lose my temper and I run into that group and I start throwing fists and try to stop it, I'd probably get my ass kicked, most likely outcome, but it would have been worth it to me, right? Like, it would have been worth it. But what would it have costed? What would it have cost me with Breathe America? Sure, some people would think it was great. He stood up and he did that, but you know what? It destroys my message to go in there and start throwing fists over something I disagree with. Earlier somebody was asked a question or made a statement about when's enough. Like, when are patriots going to stand up? And that's a very, very dangerous question. Whoever asked that, I believe it was under Facebook user. And honestly, I'm going to tell you this as honestly as I can. I will continue to talk unity. I will continue to talk about bringing people together, and I will continue to represent Breathe America as everything that Breathe America is supposed to be. The dream that we're selling here, the dream that we're asking you guys to believe in, that you guys are participating in. I will continue to do that until violence comes to my front door. Right? That's how long I will do it. The answer is when violence comes to my front door, I will respond with violence, but not before, not even a moment before. I will continue to hope and pray and do everything I can that we can change course that we are seeing in this country, because ultimately that is up to you and me and all of us. And that is what we're trying to do here. We're not just trying to bring liberals and conservatives together to have conversations. No, we're trying to make you guys realize that when we have these conversations, and we humanize each other, we start to realize that maybe we're not as far apart as we thought we were. And when we start to care about each other and respect each other, that's where real change will and can happen. So for every single one of you that's here, I want you guys to know that you are part of a very, very unique group of people. The people that really do want change, real change, not the kind of change that's lip service that we get from politicians all the time. No, the kind of change where we come together and we stop allowing our politicians to divide us, to make us look at each other, like to make Aaron and I look at each other and say, we can't be friends because I'm one color and he's another. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Stupidest
like
shit.
literally. So I'm tired of it. You know, this is where I've gotten in my life. I have sat back, done my job, raised my kids, made a lot of money, had a successful career, did this, did that, right? Like had a failed marriage. That was fun. A lot of life experience. Right? I've done everything. I've lived the American dream in so many different ways. And I've watched year after year as everything just continues to get worse and worse as we get further and further divided. So if you haven't been to the Breathe America website, go check out the Breathe America website. Read the dream. It's breathe-america.com. Guys, go check it out. Read the dream. That's the dream. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to bring people together and build relationships with each other. Regardless if you're left or right, it doesn't matter. We're all getting screwed by the government. Republicans and Democrats are equally as crooked. Yep. I hate to break it to you. You know what? We all know it. We all know it. We're all complacent in it because we all know it. We're so enamored with like our team winning that we're not willing to look at the truth of the situation. So I'm challenging you guys to look at the truth of the situation. That is why we're here, and that is what I'm going to continue to do right up until violence shows up on my doorstep. So,
also, please like and share, or not like and follow the YouTube page too. That's where the video's at. I've already subscribed.
Yep. Well, the video's on YouTube. It's on our Facebook page. It's in our group, and it's already been shared a bunch of times before we even started. So hopefully a lot of people got to see this. So come to Breathe America, the page, follow the page, follow us on YouTube. It's Breathe America with Patrick Wickard. You know, we've got Instagram. We've got, the website you can go to. There's a store if you're interested in merchandise and things like that. But honestly, you guys, what this is all about us all individually choosing to be a little bit better tomorrow than we were today. This is about us choosing to build each other up. This is about us choosing Americans first as Americans. No more labels, no more divides, no more nothing. That's what we want to accomplish. So that being said, I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for being here. And I really appreciate seeing all of you. I love you guys.
Thank you, Patrick.
And with that, go ahead, Aaron. What?
I was just saying, thank you for having me here, bro. I hope to be a guest on this show many more times.
You are welcome, brother. You are welcome. It was an honor to have you here. Thanks for agreeing to do it. It's not the easiest thing to do, is it?
No.
I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you in the morning. Oh, wait. Hold on. We might be jumping back on a little bit later tonight for something. The team was talking about it. I'm not sure. But anyways, if that happens, you'll see it. But I love you guys, and I will definitely see you tomorrow morning.
Bye.